Wow, this is happening fast, Africa. Congratulations, you guys are serious over there. Now, we knew that Africa was getting ready to jump in the world of superpowers. We just didn't know when it was going to happen. Usually these things take years upon years upon years. Now, this is happening so fast, it's making the world's head spin right now. Everybody's just watching Africa. What are you doing? What is going on with you guys? How are you doing this? And we're seeing something we've never seen before. Friendships established like never, like quickly, like fast, like wow, it's just making head spin. This is really happening this fast? Yes, within months. Uganda passes an anti-gay law when the U.S. told them not to. After the Kamala visit, Kenya jumps in and says us too. Ghana jumps in and says us too. Namibia just jumped in and says no gay marriage here. Zimbabwe is jumping in too. I mean, all these African nations are doing it. And guess what? Even Jamaica is literally kicking out their gay ambassador, or at least telling them you can't bring your gay friend here because we don't allow that in our country. I mean, in Jamaica. So now it's like becoming a new movement, and the joining forces together and it's making my head spin so fast because American government is panicking. Okay, while the majority of the American people we're just applauding you. Way to go, Africa. Way to go. Now, I've been watching the 2023 Russia-African Summit, and with Putin and all the big players in the leaders in Africa over there talking, discussing their ideas and what they're going to do and why they're doing it and how they're so more like-minded in the way they're thinking other than the Western countries. And I'm American, and I'm like, go Africa, go Africa. You know, because we're with you. The majority of the people are with you. When the media don't want to show that, but the media, you know, we know how they get. Because I'm going to show you a video. I took some clips today of the summit, things that went on that were very, very interesting, very showing and telling of what is happening in Africa. So I ask everybody out there, please go grab yourselves a drink. Let's sit down and do this together, kind of like we did with the with Sam George video. If you guys didn't watch that, go watch that. It was great. But if we're going to do that with this one too, because this is a classic. It is world-changing. This video is world-changing. It might just seem like another summit, but this one's different. It was different the whole day. It was even the ideas that they were having were so, yes, let's do this. A new currency, just throw the dollar off whack. Let's go into our new currency, become a new global denominator here, a new global standard, set new standards in the world, and go away from the status quo of what has been the norm. Norm's over, guys. Let's check this out. First of all, I want to show you the headlines. Today in PBS News, African leaders arrive in Russia summit as Putin seeks allies. Now, you know, I think the news, I don't know if your news media over there is the same as ours. Ours is fake news.
And honestly, folks, it was such a beautiful, beautiful visit and afternoon. But they can make anything bad because they are the fake, disgusting news.
We read the news and we have to think 2 or 3 times of what they said, and we have to kind of piece it apart ourselves of what's really happening, because even Elon Musk said the news isn't what it used to be. The news is now just social media, people out there putting people go to social media for the news. They don't go to this PBS anymore. So because that headline there, African leaders arrive in Russia for a summit as Putin seeks allies. Like, this isn't about just Putin here. He's not out just jump looking for allies. He's not. He's getting to find out who they are, see if they're like-minded in things. And when they realize that they're more like-minded than not, then let's do something together. Let's help each other out. Let's find out, where we're going to go with this. So I don't like that headline, but African leaders did arrive in Russia. And let's check this out together. This is going to be fun. First, let's go over with Putin jumping in. Before you know it, Putin's there, and here we go. We have a summit.
We also suggest that we move towards building a common information space between Russia and Africa that will offer to Russian and African audience access to objective and unbiased information about global developments. In conclusion, I would like to once again stress that Russia is sincerely interested in further comprehensive development and strengthening of trade and economic and humanitarian cooperation of all countries on the African continent. I'm confident that the work of this forum and dedicated sessions, roundtables and negotiations will contribute to this goal and will be useful, that it will be contribute to reaching all our shared goals. Thank you for your patience and your attention.
Thanks a lot, Mr. President. Your statement clearly defined the prospects, the essence, and the main areas of Russia-Africa cooperation amid changes in global world order.
Amid changes in global world order. And this is where we're at. This is what Africa wants. This is what Russia wants. It's what so many nations across the world want. They want a new world order, not the new world order that's in place right now by the West. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's fear-filled and fear-based. It's whatever the West can scare you into doing, whether it would be medicine. You have to take this medicine or you're going to die, or you have to think this way or you're gonna suffer. It's all this fear-based Western world stuff. America does it to Americans. So I can only imagine what they try to get away with on other countries. Like I saw them trying to do against Africa, which really, that just got me. Anyway, what Africa is looking for is mutual respect. Basically, that's what they've been asking for. Not a big ask, mutual respect. So we're going to go over this gentleman here as he talks about that.
Believes in the future of Russia-African cooperation, a one that is based on mutual respect and mutual benefit.
Okay, this next video, the one that I've been really excited about. I still got this thing on. This next video that I've been really excited about here to show you guys, to let you know that what's up. Okay, you ready? I'm getting ready. I'm taking my jacket off again. The spiritual leader to President Vladimir Putin. Actually, Putin claims that, or he said that it was Kirill's father, this gentleman, this bishop's father, or this patriarch's father, that baptized him, that got him baptized. And this guy actually talks to Putin all the time. This is his spiritual leader. This is it's a big voice in Russia. Now, when you hear this gentleman speak about Russia's mindset and all of this and what's going on and why it's going on, how it's going on, it gives us it lets you know where we're at. Okay, so I'm just going to play it. Let's enjoy it together. Once again, grab a drink, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Here we go. Patriarch Kirill. Someone might call him Cyril. It's K-I-R-I-L-L.
It means that Russia and Africa are concerned not only by material but also by spiritual values. And now I would like to give the floor to His Holiness.
This is important.
Being faithful to traditions, seeing family as the union between a man and a woman, loving and respecting one's own history, striving for goodness and justice, all these essential principles of our civilization are of overriding importance to people in both Russia and Africa, who also cherish their spiritual and cultural identity. These principles are so important to us that we are ready to uphold and defend them. And sometimes defending them means acting in rather adverse circumstances. Over the past several decades, the world has undergone radical changes. It refers not so much to the political map, economic processes, or technological progress, as to that dangerous spiritual and moral climate which is being created through active and even aggressive efforts of many Western countries. Moral relativism, the cult of profit and consumption, freedom misinterpreted as all permissiveness, a threat of destruction facing the institution of traditional family. These are just a few of the adversities we face because of the system of values.
There it is. I mean, we're only a few minutes into it, but what has he spoke about? What has he talked about? He is talking about the spiritual battle that we are in. The spiritual battle that we are in against those oppositions against our faith. Now, I just saw Museveni and a couple other leaders sitting down there. They've got to know. They've got to know that they're going to follow the side of the word of God. This is closer, which makes me so angry to say it. Being a Christian in America, that Russia, let's keep going. But it's true, and I can't deny the fact.
These are just a few of the adversities we face because of the system of values, or rather anti-values, imposed by certain forces in the West. For their adoption inevitably leads the humanity to cultural and spiritual degradation. Thank God, it is seen as a serious hazard not only in Russia, where laws and confessions, such as Orthodox Christians, Catholics, Protestants, Muslims, Jews, and Buddhists, living side by side with one another, we freely profess our faith and cooperate in educational, humanitarian, peacemaking, social, and other spheres. And as an instrument to do so, we established dedicated organizations where we not only consult each other but also develop joint action plans. The Russian Orthodox Church, mindful of its special responsibility for the future of the peoples historically associated with it, strives to foster in a person faithfulness to God's truth, respect for tradition, and love for his and her country. My meeting with Mr. Nelson Mandela in his house in the early November of 1990 was particularly important to me. That year he was released from long-term imprisonment, and it seems to me that I was the first foreigner he received in his house. Mr. Mandela asked me to convey to the Soviet authorities his gratitude for their decisive role in supporting and providing him with everything necessary for fighting against the apartheid regime. As you know, in 1994 he became president of South Africa, and I have best memories of this person who really has done so much to liberate the world in general from apartheid, to make sure it is not considered as something that we can tolerate.
Большое спасибо.
Thanks a lot, Your Holiness. Thank you for your statement. You gave a deep overview of the humanitarian dimension of our cooperation. You specifically highlighted the importance of interreligious dialogue to ensure the achievement of humanitarian development goals. Our next speaker.
Okay, well, there it is. That was it. That was it. That right there was one of the biggest steps I've ever seen from a spiritual point of moving forward, putting God in it and saying, here he is. He ain't going nowhere. This is our culture. This is our ethics. And we want to we want to be with people like us. We don't need any demons coming in and trying to take over. One nation under God. It's sad because when they're talking, it sounds like an American back when I was, this sounds like an American speech. One nation under God, not a Russian speech. It's incredible to see how far Africa has come in a matter of months. But remember this, a minute of favor, 1 minute of favor from God can do more than a lifetime's worth of labor from man. And I think that's what we're seeing right here. I know that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the favor of God right now on Africa. And it's coming in ways that I never thought that I didn't know. I knew they were going to get favor as soon as the blessings went out and Museveni started asking, for forgiveness for the past and moving forward. And his wife came forward and she gave the prayer and dedicated Africa to to the Lord again, said it's your land, and I just knew the favor was going to pour out. How fast it was going to pour out, I didn't. This is a miracle. This is a miracle. But anyway, Africa's moving. I hope you like this video. And once again, guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen from all around the world, have faith. Have faith. Because what we're seeing right now, and I think Putin said he's going to send like another, $10 billion worth of grain over there, like pronto. What? I mean, what? And then building electric and doing all these other things to build the nation economically and spiritually, have somebody lifting you up spiritually as well. And Africa is actually going to do the heavy lifting there. Africa is doing the heavy lifting in the spirit right now. Africa, that's what did this, was the heavy lifting in the spirit, not backing down from the enemy. And I want to say blessings to you all. Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe. Once again, love you all. Have a blessed night or day, whatever time it is there. I know it's like 11 o'clock here in America. I guess that would be 7 hours out. It would be like 6 a.m. over there. Probably get this out by 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. over there. But once again, guys, thanks again for watching, and keep the faith. We got this. Love you. Bye. You got this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.